In today's Kusama Eco update, we're going to talk about Calamari, which are the 7th auction winners from this second batch. Of course, as expected, the winning amount was actually happened at 204,000 KSM, as you can see here. And this is what I like Subviz.io, because on this app, which was developed by the Karura and Akala developers, it looks user-friendly, it looks cool because it uses these logos, as you can see here. So it looks pretty cool, right? The fact that they've organized this so well. It even tells you when the ending period is due to end and then when the next auction is due to start, really, like in terms of the actual bids kicking off and stuff, right? So absolutely amazing here, and it's great to see that from the Akala and Karura devs. But next, of course, we're going to be talking about the remaining crowd loans. We're going to check the progress as always, and then we're going to talk about Calamari's news, because we do have some news about Calamari. Because you're going to be asking yourself, well, what's next? They've won, but when are we going to get the token transfers? Well, we're going to get some info on that in today's video, so please stay tuned till the end. Then I want to talk about Bifrost. And then finally I'll close it off with Sub ID, which is a special feature from the Subsocial team, who are also planning to participate in a crowd loan at some point in the future, right? They're not ready yet, but they're working on it. So we're going to talk about Sub ID as well. So what do we have? Well, we're going to talk about Calamari in a moment, but first let's quickly revise what is the current status of the Kusama Crowdloans. So auction number 8 is due to start when the ending period is going to end, which is going to be in just over 1 day. Okay, that's when the official bids begin, right? That's what we have to keep in mind here, because once the winner is announced, then the ending period begins, and when the ending period ends, then basically the bids begin, and then it's based on the contribution. The one that has the largest contribution is the one that's winning the bids until someone else takes over. But it looks very clear to me here and to everyone else that Basilisk are going to be in the lead here, because there's just no way that Altair could catch up to them for the 8th auction. That being said, Altair are favorite to win the 9th auction. Okay, so the 8th auction will go to Basilisk, 9th auction to Altair, and then we're going to see if we're going to see a surprise for the 10th auction. But we may even see a surprise for the 9th auction, because they only need 20k KSM here. In fact, 25, just over 25k KSM to surpass Altair. So there may be a bit of a battle here. Now that we're talking about Altair, kind reminder, if you go in the description of this video, you'll find a ref link. If you do wish to use it, you get 5% bonus. I get 5% bonus, so I'd like to thank you in advance, and I appreciate it if you do decide to do so. If you already did so, thank you very much. If you decide to contribute more, you can contribute more, just so you know. I know some people ask me in the comments if they can contribute multiple times and can they still get the bonus. Yes, you can. That's the awesome thing about these crowd loans, that as long as they're open, you can contribute as many times as you want. Maybe you didn't get your salary yet, maybe you want to wait for some funds or something, right? Not everyone has the money straight away, but that's the beauty of it, because we have so much time to contribute to these that, you know, it gives us that flexibility. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Again, with Basilisk, the only bonus that you get is the HDX bonus, but remember that because now we're so close to the max cap and also so much time has passed, the rewards have linearly dropped, because that's how they do it. So if you had contributed to Basilisk in the first day, then you would have gotten the minimum guaranteed amount, if that makes any sense. So basically there's a minimum guaranteed amount, and it's at the largest point when you do it on day 1, right? And then it linearly drops. So that minimum guaranteed amount constantly drops based on the time, because that's how they do it basically. So yeah, Basilisk are favorite to win. I do think they're gonna max out their cap maybe in the next couple of days by the looks of it. I mean, we're only talking about 23k KSM, so that's very likely going to happen. Perhaps not, right? But who knows? Anyway, I do think they're gonna win this auction. So yeah, Altair I think are favorite to win the next one after, which is the 9th auction. And for the 10th, I do think Parallel Heiko will do it. I would have liked Kintsugi too, because it would have been nice to see a bridge between Bitcoin and Kusama. And the Kintsugi would have been good here if they would do that. And we actually have some news about Kintsugi. Again, I do have a link in the description of this video should you wish to contribute to them. But just keep in mind that we may not see them win anything in this batch. I think that they're going to be a good competitor for the 3rd batch. But I know that they're fighting. I know Alexei said that he's really motivated. He really has some big things to come, and he thinks that they do have a shot. And like I said, anything could happen when the final battle is on between Parallel Heiko and likely Polka Smith for the last auction of this batch. So maybe Kintsugi can come from behind and surprise us all. Who knows, right? But anyway, we'll see. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank today's channel sponsors, BitSwap for sponsoring this video. So let's watch this short clip and then we'll continue on with the rest of the video.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
So let's spend quite a bit of time in this video to talk about Calamari, the winner of the 7th parachain auction. We do need to read this article because it is interesting. Okay, so Calamari officially appeared in the ballot as they prepared for a parachain auction bid on Kusama. The rewards were 1 KSM, 10,000 KSM as the base reward, as well as the rewards from the bonus. Remember, there was the early bird bonus, 10% for the first 500 contributors, 5% from the 501th contributor over to the 1000th contributor, and then those were permanent bonus rewards. So if you had contributed multiple times after, like say later on, you would have still gotten that extra bonus. And on top of that, also the ref bonus, if you had used my link at the time, 2.5% ref bonus there. So that's 12.5% for the early bird bonus, like the first early bird bonus. And then for the second early bird bonus, you would have gotten 7.5% on top of the 10,000 base KME for each 1 KSM. So actually what I wanted to talk about really is obviously the whole thing here, the whole article, but there are some important points to note here, and I really like the fact that they've mentioned this. So let's talk about this. So they're saying that they've got some partners like Bifrost. We know that Bifrost have been supporting them as well, Zenlink, Fearless Wallet, but as well as exchanges like KuCoin, Huobi. This is the tricky one here, Huobi. I didn't even know Huobi was supporting Calamari. So even though they're not going to get listed on Kraken, because we already know they're not going to go to Kraken due to the legal team issues, beat them in a privacy coin and all, even though their Monero is on there as well, maybe because Monero is the king of privacy. So at the time they weren't so strict about it. Now maybe they're more strict, who knows, maybe due to those US regulations. But anyway, they didn't have to let US customers trade at the end of the day, right? So if they didn't let US customers trade, then why not list Calamari anyway? It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, US customers can trade on KuCoin without any problems. I know people from the US who are using KuCoin without any restrictions, even from New York, right? So yeah, there's no problem there. Also, Huobi is a good exchange. So if they list there, then they're going to be replacing the Kraken FUD, I should say, even though it's not really FUD, right? It's a little bit of a FUD because I would have liked to see them there, but it's not the end of the world. If we go on Huobi, then we could likely see the price still do well. And MEXU, of course, which is a smaller exchange that has been supporting many of these onboarding assets that we've seen on the Substrate framework, on the Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems. And I have done a tutorial, by the way, on MEXC. So if you're new to crypto, if you don't know how to use MEXC exchange, I've done a tutorial showing you how to use MEXC if you want to check that out, by the way, after this video. But what's next? Well, we need to talk about the contributors. So 16,005 contributors for Calamari, so quite a lot, as you can see here. That's when they secured the parachain slot. It was at 9 a.m. GMT. And not only that, but they also broke the record for the most contributors to a Kusama parachain auction. Over 16,000 contributors to a single project, and this might have been due to the hype that we all know, based on the tokenomics, that they're the most similar one to Moonriver. Okay, the most similar one, not exactly the same, because you have to remember that there's quite a gap between the total supply and the circulating supply, etc. Right? But what do I mean by that? Well, the most percentage that goes to the community was from Calamari. Aside from that, it's also the largest on lock, right? You get 34% unlocked, and that's definitely something big from my point of view. And if we were to reduce the supply, the total supply, if we're to consider Calamari a 10 million total supply, just to match at Moonriver for simplicity's sake, then you could say that as an early bird bonus contributor with the 10%, you would have gotten the equivalent of 11.2 KMA, okay, which would be like 11.2 MOVR at the time, right? Moonriver. Of course, we got 14.5, but still, even with 11.2, you would have made bank, right? So that's the equivalent. So you can't look at the total supply, but you need to look at the at how much you're getting as well, right? Because you are getting 10,000 as the base. So yeah, that's the equivalent of getting the 10 KMA or 10 MOVR, right? If you're looking at the base reward. So that's what I'm trying to get into your mind here, the fact that we should not only care about the total supply, but we should care about what we're getting and also about the market cap, because at the end of the day, the market cap is going to be important. Also the percentage allocated to the community, in this case quite a lot of it, right? Over 20%. So let's talk about this. As they laid out the PLO strategy, their rewards were unlocked in 1 billion intervals depending on the parachain slot, with a total of 3 billion in rewards. The first 1 billion were unlocked at the beginning of the parachain bid, starting on the 29th of August at a ratio of 1 KSM to 10,000 KSM. That implied that rewards were exhausted after 100 KSM in contributions. Second billion rewards were unlocked when parachain slot auction 7 began, and they quickly filled those rewards as well. Now, unfortunately, they did make a mistake because they had the cap set to 300,000, and then they said to people, "Look, don't contribute anymore because of this trend." So I think really they should have capped it at 200K and not at 300K, because I know quite a few people got annoyed with the fact that they were told that they can't contribute anymore when the cap is actually 300K. So in reality, they couldn't really stop people from contributing. You were just not getting any bonus. You could still contribute. You would have gotten a base reward, but just couldn't get any bonus. So that was the disadvantage there. But and also a lot more supply would have been gone into circulation as well. So that's also something to keep in mind. So yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a mistake from the team from that point of view, but it's not the end of the world. At least they won it, right? So the third and final tranche of rewards were not supposed to be unlocked unless we headed into slot auction 8. Okay, so that was their strategy. But they have continued to receive overwhelming support from community even after 2 billion rewards were exhausted. Therefore, on September 8th, they published the official stance on additional participants. They'll be honoring their contributions, as I was saying, and they will be rewarded as well. This means that while the rewards from tranche 3 were not officially unlocked, we would be using the necessary rewards from that tranche to reward contributors who contributed over the 200K KSM mark, which is normal because that was their mistake with the 300K cap. Okay, so that's really well played there by the team. Okay. Because I don't want to know what kind of FUD they would have brought to the community in the Manta network community, and what kind of suffering the admins would have to go through with the massive FUD war for those people that locked their KSM for 48 weeks who would not get any rewards. I mean, that would be horrible, right? So of course they had to do this. I mean, this was the ethical thing to do, if you want to say that. So receiving rewards. Now that the parachain auction is over for Calamari, the hard work begins. Of course, before they unlock the rewards for the parachain auctions, they must first complete a few steps. They'll enable governance on the chain. They'll enable token transfer. First block of contribution rewards are sent. And of course, this is going to go through phases like we've seen with other crowd loans. Now, for the full schedule, you can just check this page out, by the way, and then you can see the article there. There's also a link to that live roadmap, which is also on their website, by the way, if you want to check it out. And that's where you can track down what is the current situation. Yeah, the rest of the unused portion is going to be moved into the PLO reserve for future auctions. After 48 weeks, you'll need to bid for another parachain slot at a time. And these rewards, along with an additional 10%, will be available because they do have an additional 10%. Okay, so apart from the 30%, they created an additional 10% at the time just to basically have kind of like a safety net, I should say, or maybe a safety bag in case people would have maxed out the 300K KSM contribution, because they didn't really think that they're going to win the 7th auction. They thought maybe they'll win the 8th or the 9th auction, right? So that's why they had that. But yeah, they definitely had that safety one, so that was good because they can use that safety unlock now to contribute for future crowd loans. So definitely good to see that 1 billion tokens are going to be locked up and held for the next crowd loan. So yeah, this is basically what I was saying earlier. The early supporters, this is the frontline ones, first 500. So they've officially raised 218,000 Kusama, translated rewards. That is 2.182 billion KMA tokens that will be owned by contributors. Furthermore, they've got bonus rewards for the early supporters and referral fees. There are further KMA tokens going directly back to the community. These are further KMA tokens. Now the next step, Calamari network roadmap. This is the one that I was telling you about. I've actually covered this in a video before. So this is the one we need to keep our eyes on, and this is what I'm going to be looking at when I do the .sama eco update videos. So From a technical perspective, they have to execute the product roadmap. This means that they'll need to enable governance, token transfer. Beyond that, they'll be implementing MaryPay as the first product, which is basically the wallet where you could send private transactions on the Kusama network. And then they're going to enable MarySwap, implementing MarySwap, which is the one, which is their DEX for private transactions. Now on the strategy and community side, they have a lot of news lined up for both Manta Network and Calamari. While we can't reveal all of the details immediately, here's a hint for our next announcement. So on behalf of the Manta Network, the core team wants to say a big thank you to all of your support and welcome to the family. The hard work is just beginning and we look forward to taking a journey on our amazing community by our side. Well, thank you to Calamari and Manta Network. Great job by the team. Well played. I know there's been some mistakes, but at least they've been resolved. And of course, I'd like to thank you as well, the contributor who has used my referral link for the 2.5% bonus. It has helped me as well big time. So I'd like to thank you in advance for that. And with the funding, of course, I'm going to be building more great content for you to keep you up to date with the .sama news. So next, let's talk about Bifrost. We've got more news from Bifrost. Bifrost will support the Kintsugi Kusama Crowdloan through the SALP protocol. So they're basically going to be able to mint, you're going to be able to mint VSKSM by using the SALP protocols. Okay, so we still don't have enough info on how that's actually going to be working. But this is the idea here. Okay, so you can learn more about SALP if you go here, but just to keep it simple, it means slot auction liquidity protocol, which is aiming to issue derivatives VSKSM for KSM contributors. VSKSM can be used for DeFi applications such as swap and liquidity mining during the KSM bonding period. Exchange KSM in AMM at any time after the parachain lease expires. Derivatives can be fully redeemed for KSM in a one-to-one peg. So you do have to be careful with this, right? Because if you ever lose your VSKSM, then you will not be able to get your unlocked KSM when 48 weeks are over, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, just be very careful with that. Know that that is the risk. You can lose your KSM, the locked one, if you lose VSKSM. Okay, and I don't think that VSKSM is going to be valued the same as KSM. Okay, so just be very careful with that. Do you think the price is going to be lower because it doesn't have the same liquidity as KSM for obvious reasons, right? There are just not enough tokens there. So yeah, basically this is the Kintsugi Crowdloan rewards are quite good. I've already mentioned this before, very, very low supply. So the Crowdloan airdrop is 10% of the total supply, which is 1 million Kint of the initial 4-year Kint supply. Create a proactive crowdloan process. Kintsugi features the following special airdrops with the early bird bonus, 5% for the first 3 days of the crowdloan, which is over. Referral bonus 5% for the referrer and referred. Success bonus up to 100,000 additional Kint if the specific lockup targets are achieved. And strong supporter bonus from 0.5 to 10 KSM for extra 0.5 extra for 10 KSM voters. And up to 5% for 1,000 KSM super voters. Okay, there are some whales out there. I know one whale has used my referral link for Bifrost, and I do want to thank that whale a lot. Maybe you don't like the word whale, so I apologize for that if it sounds weird to you. But that's basically the wording that is used in the community, in the crypto community, when someone has a lot of specific cryptocurrency, like say in the millions. So yeah, the whale had in the millions worth of KSM. They have used my referral link, so that's why I'm super hyped, and maybe I am a bit biased about Bifrost simply because of that. Like basically the referral bonus has way super exceeded my personal contribution to Bifrost. So absolutely amazing, and I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, basically Kintsugi is the bridge between Bitcoin and Kusama, and they've got Interlay, which is going to be the bridge between Bitcoin and Polkadot. I'm sure you've heard about Interlay on this channel. I have mentioned them in the past when I was talking about Chainx. They were the direct competitor, but they had no token. They were meant to start off as a common good parachain, which is basically not requiring, which is like a necessary parachain that doesn't actually require a crowd loan. So it was necessary, it was mandatory to have that, but it looks like now it's not mandatory anymore. So we're not going to have a Bitcoin bridge unless one of these crowd loans wins. So that's why I do hope that Kintsugi could make it in the 10th, because I do like their contributions, their distribution system, as opposed to Parallel Heiko. Parallel Heiko only give you 2%. Like, why would people contribute to Parallel Heiko? Maybe it's not even your regular retail investor. Maybe it's to do with those private investors who are waiting to get those large bags, and they want to see part of HICO listed on these exchanges so they can of course sell. So maybe they are the ones contributing, and maybe it's not just your end user community. So yeah, we'll have to see. Who wants only 2%, right? Come on. And finally, let's close it off with the big news here, and we can also get a glimpse at Sean Tabrizi, who's actually running a node on Kusama. He's a developer at Party Technologies working on Subsocial. So we'll talk about SubID. SubID is a tool that's part of Subsocial. I have covered Subsocial, by the way, so if you're interested, I've done a dedicated review on Subsocial. Check it out. It should pop up on the top right hand corner of the screen or in the description of this video if you're watching this on Library or Odyssey. So Sean Tabrizi, he's got quite the portfolio here. You could see this guy is doing really well, and he's really invested in Kusama and Polkadot, but also maybe he got, like, because he's a developer at Party Technologies, he likely got some of these tokens for free, right? He got some Polkadot for free, I'm sure he sold some because he has to live too, but even so, 1.3 million, almost 1.3 million in portfolio value. This is the total value, okay, including the Kusama locked. Free balance is almost 600,000, so that's still a lot. Locked in crowdloan 683,000. NFT collection 0. Okay, so you can see he's got 6,000 dot here, 6,100 dot worth 223k. This is how much Kusama he's got left in his available balance. Also Karura and so on. So that's what I like about SubID, the fact that they're basically showing you one's portfolio. And you can look at your portfolio right now, right? You could think of it like a competitor to maybe Blockfolio, who is now called FTX, except this is going to be on the Polkadot ecosystem, on the .sama ecosystem. So you could see your .sama holdings and how much they'll be worth. So definitely great job by the team here. And there's one other awesome thing, the Kusama Crowdloans, and of course the Polkadot Crowdloans will be added to this tool as well, to this DApp. And here you could see how much they've all contributed, right? So, of course, this is just the Sean Tabrizi's one, but you could see other people's one, right? I don't know what Gavin Wood's wallet is, so maybe if I can track that down, that would be nice. But yeah, we could see he's contributed 300 KSM to Basilisk, so he's obviously a supporter, worth 127k. That's quite a whooping amount. He's a supporter of Calamari too, which is definitely a good thing because so am I, and probably so are you watching this video. 85.6k here. Killed 200 KSM, Karura 200 KSM, Kala Moonriver 200 KSM. I'm sure he's very happy with that contribution because I definitely am, so I'm sure he is too. Shiden 200 KSM, Altair 101, so, and only 2 KSM to Bifrost. I mean, why, Sean? Why? Why would you only contribute 2 KSM to Bifrost? Could it be that by the time Bifrost was no, I know why, because he supported Basilisk. What am I thinking? Okay, maybe because he contributed to Basilisk a lot and he didn't have that much left for Bifrost, so he thought, okay, I'm gonna go heavy in Bifrost. They didn't win, he got his KSM back, and he contributed 2 KSM which was left over in the meantime for Bifrost, because he thought maybe they're not going to win, but let me support them a little bit. So I think that's what happened here with Sean's contributions, in my opinion. And of course he had 300 KSM back when batch 1 finished, so he contributed that now to Basilisk. So I think that's what happened. But this is another big thing here. So sub.id is also supporting the NFTs within your wallet. So here you could see what NFTs you're holding across all the different NFT platforms that are supported on the Kusama network. We've got Unique Network, Remark, and StateMine. So here you can see Substrapunks, Cello Brick, etc. Sparkling Gem from Kala Network, also from Kusama Auction. So this is the Fala Network one here. So Early Bird Honor Gem from Kala as well. So all of these NFTs that he's got. Bird Boy as well, KEN. So yes, they look cool. And of course we've got the personal details here, display Sean Tabrizi, website, email address, etc. Twitter, you can find them on there. So that's definitely great. But if you think that Sean Tabrizi is a whale, just wait till you see this one. Jam, I don't know who this person is, but 4.2 million in portfolio value, free balance 2.9 million, locked in crowdloans 1.2 million. So as you can see, he played it carefully. Here. He didn't go too heavy in the crowdloans. If he still has 2.9 million, he wanted to only do 1.2 million because he wanted to play it safe, right? Polkadot, 24.5 thousand dot, which is worth 893k. So a lot more than Sean Tabrizi. However, his Kusama bag is almost the same as Sean Tabrizi's one, 563 KSM, you can see here, 240k. Karura, 76,000, 6K. So that's quite a lot here. What else? What else? Shiden, 247,000. 1.7 million. 1.7 million. That is humongous. That is humongous. So it really went deep in Shiden there. And we can track that down if we go down. Nobody's holding any Chain-X. What's going on? Nobody wants to hold any Chain-X. And he's got some Subsocial as well. Edgeware as well, as you can see here. But look, I mean, look at this. Let me close this. Look at this, 2,000 KSM to Shiden. So he's definitely a believer of Shiden network. Maybe he's even a dev. Maybe he's working for the team. Who knows? Or maybe he just simply believes in Shiden network because they are very dev focused, right? So if you're a dev, perhaps you're more inclined to follow Shiden over Moonriver, but Moonriver is the one that pump more, right? Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Shiden does need time. Shiden does need time. It's a long-term hold, but it's a big lockup. Definitely a big lockup. Karura, 500 KSM. Bifrost, 0. Embarrassing. 0 to Moonriver because he went so deep in Shiden. He kept his KSM for Shiden that he just didn't have any more. Maybe he just didn't want to do Moonriver, right? So yeah, Kala, 80. Killed 300. Calamari, 0. 50 for KSM. So very low amount. Again, he was probably running out of KSM. So he thought, okay, let me do 50 so I can keep some more KSM because he still has 563. Perhaps he's staking it, he's generating staking reward. So yeah, it's definitely great to see, and then he's got one NFT as well. So it's definitely great to see this information. Again, it's not really good because it's not private info, right? It's public. Everyone can see what you hold if they know your wallet. So it is a bit of a downside from that point of view, but it's not the end of the world, right? At the end of the day, it's on the blockchain. It's about transparency, right? So yeah. I just wanted to quickly cover this and let me know what you think of SubID, by the way, and of this news video. What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? What would you like to see different in future videos? So thank you for watching and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.